This might look like bad behavior, but it's actually your toddler's brain developing in real time. And what most parents misunderstand about tantrums could completely change how they respond to them forever. Because your toddler isn't trying to manipulate you. They're trying to manage emotions their brain literally cannot handle yet. And once you understand what's happening underneath the screaming, crying, flopping, and chaos, parenting suddenly starts making a lot more sense. Maybe your toddler melts down because you gave them the wrong spoon, or because you opened the snack they asked you to open. Maybe they collapse dramatically in the supermarket because you said, "Not today." And sometimes it can honestly feel confusing, embarrassing, exhausting, or even concerning. You might wonder, is this normal? Am I doing something wrong? Why does my child react so intensely? But by the end of this video, you'll understand why tantrums happen, what's actually going on in your toddler's brain, what accidentally makes tantrums worse, and how to respond in a calm way that actually helps your child develop emotional regulation over time. And there's one specific mistake many loving parents make during tantrums that can unintentionally fuel the behavior even more. We'll get to that in a minute. First, we need to understand something important. Toddlers are not miniature adults. Their brains are still under heavy construction. At ages 1 to 3, the emotional parts of the brain are developing incredibly fast. But the areas responsible for logic, impulse control, emotional regulation, patience, and reasoning are still immature. So your toddler feels emotions at full intensity without having the tools to manage those emotions yet. That means frustration feels enormous, disappointment feels enormous, waiting feels enormous. To adults, the trigger often seems tiny, but to toddlers, the emotion itself is very real. Imagine having one of the worst days emotionally, except you can't explain what's wrong, calm yourself down, or fully understand your own feelings. That's often what a tantrum feels like from the inside. Toddlers can cry because the banana broke, their sock feels weird, they wanted the blue cup, or because you wouldn't let them eat rocks at the playground. Toddler logic is honestly undefeated. But underneath the funny moments is something very important happening developmentally. Tantrums are deeply connected to independence. Around this age, toddlers begin realizing, I'm my own person. I can make choices. I want control. And honestly, that's a good thing. Your toddler wanting independence is actually healthy development. The problem is this. Their desire to do things independently grows faster than their actual ability to do those things successfully. So they want to put on their own shoes, pour the milk, buckle the seatbelt, climb everything, press every button, and decide absolutely everything themselves. But when reality interrupts that independence, big emotions happen. This is also the age where toddlers begin testing boundaries constantly. Not because they're bad, but because testing boundaries is literally how children learn what's safe, what's allowed, what gets a reaction, and how the world works. Every boundary test is information gathering. Your toddler is basically a tiny emotional scientist running experiments all day long. What happens if I throw this? What happens if I scream? What happens if I refuse bedtime? Congratulations, you live with a very emotional researcher. So if your toddler has tantrums regularly, take a deep breath. This is completely normal. It does not mean your child is spoiled. It does not mean you're failing as a parent. And it definitely does not mean your toddler will grow up bad. In fact, tantrums are often a sign that your child feels safe enough to express emotions around you. That doesn't make the moments easy, but it does matter. Toddlers learn emotional regulation slowly through repeated experiences with calm, safe adults. Not through fear, not through shame, and not overnight. Now here's something incredibly important. Most tantrums are not planned manipulation. Young toddlers are usually too emotionally overwhelmed in the moment for calculated behavior. Their nervous system is overloaded. And when adults respond with yelling, panic, threats, or emotional escalation, their brain experiences even more stress, which often makes the tantrum bigger. Think about it this way. When your toddler is fully melting down, the logical part of the brain is basically offline. That means long lectures usually don't work in the middle of a tantrum. Punishments during emotional overload often don't teach the lesson parents hope they will. Because a dysregulated brain struggles to learn. A regulated brain learns. And this is where many parents accidentally make tantrums worse without realizing it. They focus only on stopping the behavior quickly, instead of helping the child move through the emotions safely. So what should parents actually do? First, regulate yourself first. Your calm nervous system helps your toddler's nervous system settle over time. That doesn't mean becoming emotionless or endlessly patient. You're human too. But lowering your own intensity changes the entire situation. Second, keep boundaries clear and calm. Understanding feelings does not mean allowing harmful behavior. You can absolutely validate emotions while still holding limits. I know you're angry, but I won't let you hit. You really wanted that toy, but we're not buying it today. This teaches one of the most important emotional lessons in childhood. All feelings are acceptable. Not all behaviors are. Third, help your toddler name the feeling. You're frustrated. You're disappointed. You wanted to do it yourself. Over time, children slowly learn to replace physical emotional explosions with language. And finally, connection matters more than perfection. Your toddler does not need a flawless parent. They need a safe, predictable adult who repairs, reconnects, and guides them consistently over time. There are also a few things that commonly make tantrums worse: yelling back, threatening abandonment, shaming emotions, giving huge emotional reactions, or suddenly giving in after saying no. Because toddlers learn patterns very quickly. Consistency creates safety. And one more important thing. Trying to win against a toddler usually turns the moment into a power struggle. Instead of asking, "How do I stop this immediately?" try asking, "What skill is my child struggling with right now?" That shift changes everything. And if your toddler also suddenly says no to everything, throws food, refuses help, or wants to do every single thing independently, those behaviors are actually connected to this exact same stage of development too. Your toddler is not giving you a hard time. Your toddler is having a hard time. And underneath all the chaos, your child is learning emotional regulation, trust, boundaries, independence, and how relationships work. The way you respond during these difficult moments becomes part of how they eventually learn to respond to themselves. Toddler tantrums can feel exhausting in the moment, but they are also one of the clearest signs that your child's brain is rapidly growing and developing. Stay calm, stay consistent, stay connected. You're not raising a perfect toddler. You're raising a human being. And honestly, you're probably doing better than you think.